This is AM 1220, KTLV, Midwest City, Oklahoma City.
The following is a paid program. The views and opinions expressed or products endorsed are not necessarily those of KTLV, its staff, or management.
I want to say a very happy good morning to you. This is Calvin Luper with the Clara Luper Radio Show, the October the 7th version. See, I want you to sit back, relax, call that friend, call that neighbor, and invite them to be a part of today's show. It's so good to be back here in the studio, KTLV, and it's so good to know that today we will have an opportunity to talk with you and to share with you our ideas and our dreams and our hopes and our inspirations for a better city. Now, this studio, I'm certain, will never be the same after Reverend Drinkwater leaves it, because I can still feel the great vibrations from that dynamic show that just left. So do me a favor, sit back, relax, call that neighbor, call that friend, invite them to join us here at KTLV 1220 on your AM dial. Dean is back from the fair, I'm back from the fair, and we have a lot of good things that we want to share with you, and we have a lot of great things that you will have an opportunity to be a part of. I want to remind all of you that this program is being brought to you by Merrill & Hildred, Allstate Insurance, your favorite agent, the number one agent in the state of Oklahoma, as we like to call it. Merrill & Hildred, Allstate Insurance, 730 West Britain Road. Merrill, we know you're the best, but we know you do an outstanding job, not only with insurance, but also about caring for the needs and the many problems that your customers, that your people, that the people that are insured through your agency, that they have, and we know you take care of them totally. So, Dean, I'm about ready for a quick little break here, but I want to give all of you this number out here, 672-1220, because we will be welcoming your participation in today's show. So call that friend, call that neighbor, and invite them to be a part of this, the Clara Luper Radio Show. We're ready to ride that train. Well, at least I'm ready to ride that train. But in the meanwhile, while we're all getting ready, we have to sometimes make sure we have enough fuel in the tank, as Reverend Drinkwater was talking about, to make sure that we can go somewhere and do that. But this program is also being brought to you by Gates Barbershop, that's located there at 2609 North Martin Luther King Avenue. Now, during the course of today's program, we will be discussing the Freedom Center, the monument, the wall that we all together will be building. We will be discussing the activities in the NACP and the NACP Youth Council. There are certain feelings that all of us have. We will also be discussing the dynamic building that soon will be erected here on the east side. The school named after our illustrious school board member, Mrs. Thelma Parks, my past teacher. And we invite your comments, and we welcome your comments today, 672-1220, the Clara Luper Radio Show. So call that neighbor, call that friend, and invite them to be a part of today's show and to be on that train with us right here live and in living color, KTLV. Got it again. Well, one thing about radio, you always have to be ready. I guess the same true in TV, or no matter what you do in life, you always have to be ready for the unexpected, and certainly the unexpected is happening this morning. I know thousands of you out there are wondering, just where is Clara Luper when you hear her golden voice? And I want to tell you that Clara Luper will be calling in today. She is not here in the city with us, but she's off on a mission that she will be calling back, describing to us, I'm certain, in minute detail, because I talked to her last night and she was describing to me where she is and what she's doing. If she hasn't called by 9:30, I will go ahead and explain to you what it is. Now, I know that there are also thousands of you out there who have an opinion about the O.J. Simpson trial, and we invite you to call 672-1220. But we're going to try it again, and we're going to get this train moving. It takes a little bit more fuel, but we want to make sure the track is clear, because we have some great ideas, some great thoughts that we want you to be a part of this day. So sit back, relax, call that neighbor, call that friend. Once again, this is the Clara Luper Radio Show. Yes, indeed. We want you to come along and be a part of this train, the gospel train. That gospel train is a mighty powerful train, and we have seen the results of it. So those of you out there who are listening, we want you to be a part of the gospel train in every aspect of your life. You know, at the uh, last week, this time we were at the state fair, and I want to personally take this time to thank all of you who came by CP's Catfish Cafe and by Merlin's Gumbo and sat and talked with us and ate with us and shared in our friendship and our comradeship there at the 1995 State Fair. It was really an exciting time. It was really great. And you don't know how good it made all of us feel. CP, Clara, Ellis, Merlin, myself, Alicia, Cameron, all of us who were working out there, how good it felt for friends to come by and to sit and to talk with us and to share in the gumbo and to share in that catfish and to sit there and to welcome the many new friends that we made during the 1995 State Fair. You know, it's sort of like it's really a hard feeling to explain. But there during the state fair, we had an opportunity to see people that we hadn't seen in over a year. We had people to see that we met that we had never met before, but who came because of the fact that they had heard so much about that great catfish and about that exciting, stimulating gumbo. And we've had some guys that had worked on the Wade rides there at the park at the fairgrounds, and they'd heard about Merlin's gumbo, and they were from Louisiana, and they decided to make CP's Catfish and Merlin Gumbos their main place to eat. And we want to really thank them because, you know, it feels good when a stranger comes up to you and tells you that your product is good. But it also feels good when a friend comes up. And Brother Gates, I want to thank you so much for making me look so sharp and handsome there at the State Fair. I received many a compliment because of that haircut that I got at Gates Barbershop there at 2609 North Martin Luther King. So Brother Gates, thanks to me, and I got to come by there personally and thank you. But then, like others, you know, things have really been going fast, but I will be by there today because I want to repeat because of business. Got that good because of that haircut at Gates Barbershop. I think I need to go by there every Saturday. See, I want to invite you too. If you need a haircut, that special haircut that you may like, go by Gates Barbershop, 2609 North Martin Luther King. And there at the State Fair, Merlin had a great time. I know Mr. Wilson had a great time too, but you know, every year something exciting happens. And this was the year that we survived the coldest day in State Fair history. But we were there, and we were prepared to serve the public, and we were prepared to serve those people who came out during that cold day and were there with us at the State Fair of Oklahoma. I want to remind all of you, too, that on October the 14th, once again, you will have an opportunity to eat that great catfish that is served at CP's Catfish Cafe. Once again, you'll have an opportunity to sample and to taste and to enjoy that great gumbo that Merle and Hildreth's make. That gumbo, that catfish will be at the Langston University Homecoming coming up October the 14th. That's next weekend there at Langston University. The great pride, the pride of all of us here in Oklahoma, I know across the nation, because LU has its students and alumni from across this entire nation. Everybody's proud, and everybody will be there. We're looking forward to being there. Homecoming 1995, where once again you'll have an opportunity to eat that great catfish of CP's, that great gumbo of Merle and Hildreth. I'm looking forward. Oh my goodness, I'm looking forward to some exciting things happen. And believe it or not, something exciting just did happen. It turned the corner on me, but it had nothing to do with gumbo. It had nothing to do with catfish, but it has happened that a good friend has showed up, and my, what a great surprise! And he has some papers in his hand, but we'll get to him shortly, because of the fact that we know that good things are happening in Oklahoma City. We know that great things are happening in Oklahoma City. We know that you are concerned about what is going on in your community, and we know that you want to do what you can to make it a better place and a better city and a better state. Let's start off by making it a better block that you live in. So I want you, if you haven't called that friend or called that neighbor, to make sure that you do. And then to call us out here at KTLV 672-1220. Today's show promises to be very exciting. I know that all of you are anxiously awaiting to hear our reaction to what the NACP state has done. I know that all of you are interested in how we feel about what the NACP Oklahoma City branch president and NACP Oklahoma City Youth Council about the so-called ... division that is developed there. But we will talk about that. But we want your response too. And it's going to be great if we get your response, or even if we don't, because we're going to tell you how we feel about it. Thank you, Dr. A.L. Dow. Dr. A.L. Dow is located there at 934 Northeast 8th Street. Dr. A.L. Dow is the best optometrist in Oklahoma City, in Oklahoma, and in the whole Southwest. Dr. A.L. Dow has a young man up there working with him. That's his son. He's striving to be as good as his dad was, and he's doing a fantastic job. But you don't have to take my word for it. Why don't you make an appointment, or why don't you just go by? Dr. A.L. Dow's there, 934 Northeast 8th Street. You know, now that school has been going on a little while, some of your kids or your grandkids may have started developing some problems, and those problems may be directly related to their eyesight. If that's where you think it is, or if you're not sure what the problems may be caused by, it may be caused because they can't see the board, because they can't see the computer screen as clearly as the other students in their classes. Let me remind you that eyesight is a valuable thing. Dr. A.L. Dow will help you maintain and to improve your eyesight. Trust me, I know, because when I was in school, I had a hard time seeing the blackboard. But thanks to Dr. A.L. Dow, I got fitted with some glasses, and my grades did improve, and I did enjoy going to school then. And I think that may be a lot of the problems that happen now in our school system, where we don't take the time out to make sure that our kids, that our young people, are totally prepared to go to school. Not only are they have to be dressed right, but they have to see well. Dr. A.L. Dow, 934 Northeast 8th Street. He can take care of you and your kids and anyone in your family, any problems that they may be having with their eyesight. Today's program is being brought to you by several advertisers, and we'll call all their names. We'll get to them, but you've heard about Gates, Dr. Dow, and of course Merlin Hilgen, our favorite Allstate insurance agent. CP's Catfish that will be at Langston University on October the 14th, and Merlin's Gumbo that will be there also October the 14th, Langston University. We're all looking forward to that. Remember this number, 672-1220, because it's going to get hot in here, and we're going to have a great time, and we're going to talk about some things that we've noticed in the paper, and we're going to talk about some things that we've hinted on in weeks past that we're going to just go on out and make sure. We will be hearing from our dynamic hostess, Clara Luper, who is in Maryland. I think it's right outside of Baltimore, Maryland, but she's at the University of Maryland, the Eastern Shore, where she's attending the 25th anniversary of Dr. William Percy Heights. We hope to be getting an interview and a conversation with Dr. Heights and Clara Luper, and I'm expecting that at any moment. So sit back, relax. Dean, I don't know if we'll play another record, but I think what we'll do right now, we won't play it. We're going to introduce this dynamic young ball of energy that just bolted through the door and surprised us all, had us, we didn't know whether to run or what, but he came in the door full of energy with an article that I should read, that I haven't had a chance to read yet. But I did read the Ebony Tribune, and in the Ebony Tribune I saw a picture of a young man with several people standing behind him, and it was down there at a recent school board meeting, and it was at the meeting where we were talking about building the Park School. Now, there's no doubt in all of our minds that the school will be built, but the biggest thought that we have and the biggest worry we seem to have had was when it would be built, because the land has been cleared, the decision has been made to name the school, but there had to be something else going on there. And thank goodness that those of you who listen to the Clara Luper radio show, you're going to get a firsthand knowledge of what happened at this school board meeting. I know it won't be very short and concise, but I'm going to try to do my best to limit them to 2,000 or 3,000 words in telling us what happened at the school board when they were deciding whether to continue to build the Park School. Now, the Park School will be a magnet school, and it will be located in Northeast 30th and Prospect, right in the heart of the Northeast community, the Northeast Quadrant. Now, this is a very important area. We've seen homes there in our short lifetime. We've seen apartments there in our short lifetime. And we've watched the decision being made to place a school there. We've watched and commented on the naming of that school. But now we're ready for the school to be a reality. And at the recent school board meeting, there were several hundreds of people there, according to the Tribune, over 100, 150 people that were there. And all of them were concerned about the building of the school, no matter what the name may be, because the important thing is the education of our young people. But here in our studio today, we have a dynamic young man that I last saw at the state fair, and I want to remind him that he still owes me for an extra piece of bread that he had me put on his catfish dinner that he got. Oh, he's paying me too. My God, my God, and for the extra things that he did there at the state fair. But the big thing was that he came, and we have a good time, and we talk that talk, and we walk that walk. But one thing about it, we're united in our defense of our black youth and our desire of building our community from Spencer to Capitol Hill to Edmond to Guthrie. You can't miss it because we are concerned about the plight of our black youth and of our young adults and actually of all of us here in the city. Because if we don't work together, if we don't sometimes argue together, if we all can't see the same way, but we have to voice our opinions and we have to stand by our opinions. But when the majority decides to do something, we also have to be flexible enough to go out and work together to make this community a better place. So I want to introduce to some of you a dynamic young man that I really love dearly. I've watched him grow, and as he's watched me grow, because we've been together for years. But as I said in the introduction, we are concerned about the city. But right now he's in a position to spread knowledge to all of us and to help us all. Now he's holding up a deal, but we're going to talk more about it as the radio show goes on. So sit back, relax, enjoy yourself. Call that neighbor, call that friend. If you want to participate in today's discussion, the phone number out here is 672-1220. But here we are. Here we have with us live and in living color none other than my dear friend, Brother Theodis Payne. How you doing this morning, Theodis?
I'm doing fine. Thank you, my brother Calvin. I'm excited. I'm excited as always.
We're both extremely lucky. We're going to finish that argument that we always inevitably have. But then I want to pat you on your back for going to the school board meetings. And I noticed here on the picture that there were about 20 people standing behind you here
All
as the ministers.
All ministers.
I'm reading the Ebony Tribune, the newspaper here in Oklahoma City that's building a legacy of pride and achievement that we're all proud of. The CCL, but the picture says, under the picture, it says, CCL President Theodis Payne and 15 community ministers urge the board to accept the bid and start construction on the new school. So Theodis, in a minute or 2 minutes or less, tell us what was the real deal going on down at the school board meeting. Dean's just smiling over there. We know 2 minutes won't work, but tell us what was going on at the school board meeting. Time starts now.
120 seconds.
Okay.
In the next 120 seconds, I'll tell you what happened at the school board. No, in all honesty, Calvin, first of all, thank you for allowing me to come in at a drop of a hat's notice to tell everyone on live here on the Clara Luper Show that the approval of the new Oklahoma City Northeast School facility has been approved by the Board of Oklahoma City School Board members. I'm excited about it. We had an opportunity to go out to the community and ask the community to not only attend several meetings via this station and this show and invite people in to discuss and dialogue what we would do as a community in order to help enhance the plight of not only the Northeast Quadrant, but the Oklahoma City School Bond. We were successful collectively in encouraging 4 school board members to vote yes on the new school, as Calvin has alluded to, on Northeast 30th and Prospect. A $3,104,000 facility in Northeast Oklahoma City. We are extremely excited about that, and we just glad that the community supported the process, and more specifically, we had an opportunity to go before the Baptist Ministers Association and ask them to support us in that process. We had 20 ministers to show up at the school board meeting. During my presentation, I asked all of them to come down because they were instrumental in passing that $90 million bond that was approved by Oklahoma City patrons. And I'm just so excited that we can be a part of success. As you say, how Calvin, we've been growing in this community all our lives. You and I have never lived anywhere else other than here. This is home.
Well, that's we've lived somewhere else, but we come back.
Oh, I have lived
You haven't
anywhere.
lived anywhere. Well, I have lived somewhere
Well,
else. I
congratulations.
messed up your 2 minutes, man. I
I'm
wasn't gonna
sorry.
say nothing. You
I'm
got
sorry.
10 more seconds.
10 more seconds.
Okay.
But the main thing is that it is the beginning of a great opportunity in this community at large, for people to come together and bring about equity and justice. And that's what we're all about. That's what this coalition is all about. It has now grown to over 59 organizations, agencies, churches. God is really blessing this organization. I know it has nothing to do with me, Calvin. It has something to do with people that deserve the finest and the best things of life.
Yeah, you can say that again. But Theodis, you talk about the school board voting to build a school. Now, when we voted on that bond issue, I think that uh, the guesstimation on the price of that school was only about 1.6 or 1.7 million dollars.
That is correct.
And now you're saying it's 3-something million.
3 million, almost $400,000 will take what it will take in today's market to actually facilitate and build this structure.
Now, the reason for that increase, was it because of the delay, or was it because of funding, or
I would say,
what's the thing on
I
that?
would say anytime the public go out and ask for funds from the community, they always take the lowest and the best bid, and they just kind of guesstimated, as you said, to build a structure like that. But any of us that have any knowledge of even a home, if you go and buy a home now versus buying it 3 years ago, it would cost more now than 3 years ago. So the fact of the matter is Oklahoma City School Administration Board stepped up to the plate and agreed to put twice the money that the board had approved. And it wasn't because of it being on the northeast quadrant. I want to explain this to the listenership. Calvin stated magnet school. So 1/7 of the students will come from all the different 7 districts within the district. It's a language school, which simply means foreign language and computer school. It is a great opportunity to bring people into the quadrant. It will be a new structure. It was architecturally designed by an African American, James Black, the first time in the history of this city that we've had something of this nature that is done by African American leadership.
Okay. Now you say James Black was the architect that
Yes.
has the rendering here that's in
Yes.
the Ebony Tribune.
Yes.
Hey, I want to invite everybody out there that you can get some additional detail on that. Knowing Theodis is not going to miss too much, but you can read it, some of it there in the Ebony Tribune that's available in most of the places here in Oklahoma City.
Free.
You have to see a picture of the school coming up. But when will they be breaking ground on the school, or did they decide
Yes,
that?
they did. They will begin breaking ground in the spring of '96. The structure will be completed in fall of '97. So they are anticipating that students will actually enter the building fall of '97 because they don't want to take students out of the school, say in the school district in the school year of '96, '97.
Right.
So to keep students in that school, their own facilities till May of '97, and then in the fall of '97, the superintendent.
So we have
said,
2 years before the big opening of the Thelma
Oh,
Parks
elementary school.
or Thelma Parks School.
Yes,
Okay, Thelma R. Parks Elementary School.
right.
$3 million worth of mortar and
And
electrical work and
Right.
plumbing work. Say,
Yes.
I have another question. What about the minority contractors? Will many of the minority contractors be participating actively in the building of the school?
for the first time in the history of the Oklahoma City School District, out of the $89 million, $21 million plus dollars went to ethnic minorities. First time ever.
And these are construction and the
Electrician,
electricians and the plumbers and the
exactly,
trades.
Exactly.
Say, man, somebody's doing something down
God,
there.
God.
God is working in
Yes.
mysterious ways
Yes.
because our Oklahoma City School Board
Yes.
has not been known to make sure that minorities had an active participation when it came down to actually making the money. Now, they didn't mind getting our tax dollars to spend the money, but
Right.
when they get out there with the talent that exists in the minority communities across this state
Right.
and across this city specifically, we should have always been there. but that's neither here nor there.
We
But
there
God,
now.
God is inspired Thelma Parks
Yes,
and
Wayne
Wayne Dempsey and all of the other
all
board
the board
members
members,
to
because
do something.
it took 4 votes to approve this, and I want to say again, this was not a black thing. This was, as Calvin stated earlier, a bond thing that was approved by all the voters, and it will be another school built in South Oklahoma City. I want to say that, Calvin, and those 4 board members that stood up to the plate and approved this thing, they need to be commended and they need to be complimented.
Well, they've gotten their quick pat on the back because of that dream. But what we'll do, we'll just wait. We'll just wait until the ground is broken and the bricks are being put up.
That's right.
And actually, the 97, that's 2 long years. But we want to remind those board members, those same board members, as we should remind ourselves during the course of this year, that we will be keeping an eye on that building. We will be expecting the very best material to be used. We will not be expecting the air conditioning to go out. And we're looking forward to some of the teachers and the administrators that will be working there. But Theodis, we have a call here that's coming in. I don't know if it's from my dear mom there at the University of Maryland, where she's attending the 25th anniversary of Dr. William Perry Heights, who is the nephew or first cousin. Well, let me let Mom tell you about that. Good morning. How are you doing this beautiful morning, Mom?
Good morning, Calvin, and a special good morning to the people in the state of Oklahoma. This is Clara Luper, and here I am at the end of the United States. This gracious land is less transfixed and is a part of the world. It combines tradition and simplicity of life with the beauty of the countryside, with miles of yellow pumpkins and the aroma of moms. History is ever present here in Maryland, filled with richness and tradition of the Eastern Shore. It is hard to capture the true spirit of this area. You have to experience it. You have to see the beautiful flowers, trace the sound of songbirds, breathe the fresh air, and share stories with the people. Yes, here in Maryland. The people here have a high value on friendship and friends. We are at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. University that was founded in 1886 by the Delaware Conference of the Methodist Church. It was founded to educate young black men and women. In 1970, the campus was renamed the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. It is a state-supported school, but the history of this school changed when an Oklahoman, the Let me give you an example of what's happening here. For example, yesterday at 6 o'clock, there was a dinner. And when I say a dinner, I mean a dinner. Dr. Heights and his lovely wife served us, and you would have thought that you were somewhere out of the United States, because the service represented all of the meats that were available. Call it turkey, call it shrimp, call it crabs, call it beef. They were all there. But maybe what impressed your reporter most was the method by which it was served. The skills of the young people, the appearance of the bread in the basket, the heat of the food, and most of all, the napkins as they stood in wine and white there on the table. But among the people there were people that I have known through the years. For example, Myrtle and John Hightower had come in from Plano, Texas, and those of you in the Oklahoma area, you know Myrtle real well. Filled with excitement, filled with stories mixed in the Texas and Oklahoma culture. Jeanette Milligan and Lisa M. Wallace were there from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Lorraine B. Holmes, and I call her Dr. Holmes, was there from Hawkins, Texas, with her stories that she called a fantasy because they seemed unbelievable. I was also impressed with the presence of Reverend Jimmy Hunter, who's a pastor of the New Hope Baptist Church in Port Arthur, Texas. There he was with his beautiful wife and his children. And he's not only a preacher but a musician. He played songs like they had never been played before. For example, one beautiful young lady asked him to do Amazing Grace, and he did it with such grace and dignity. I asked for Precious Memories, and I got it. But precious memories could be wrapped up in the beautiful life of the children that were there, of Dr. Heights. Successful children that had come home to be with their father on this historical day. That was yesterday, and let me tell you something about the campus here. I have traveled in 48 of the states in the Union. I have never seen a campus as pretty as this campus. I wish I could describe it to you, but words are inadequate at this time. I can only tell you that this school has a hotel right on the campus, a hotel. And last night, I felt as if I was at the Waldorf Astoria because this hotel had the same beauty and dignity that it had. It was something to remember, but today is a new day. And this morning we will be traveling to Ocean City, Maryland. We will stand and look at the Atlantic Ocean and the waves as they come in. Then we will rush back for a brunch at the president's home. After the brunch, we will go to a semi-professional football game. And after then, the big dinner. And I would like to tell you that Dr. Heights' retirement dinner is bringing together people from all over the country. The tickets are only $60 per person, and they are $60 per person, and they are completely sold out. The conversation here last night was about Blanche and Tom Norman. Dr. Heights talked about the influence that Blanche had had on his life. And certainly we joined in because Blanche has influenced all of us. And standing beside me, I have a young lady from Oklahoma City, Gail Holman, who arrived here this morning. Gail, how are you?
Just fine.
And how are you feeling? How do you like this part of the world?
Well, this is my first time being here in Maryland, and it's beautiful. Just wonderful.
That's wonderful. I would like to give you the opportunity to talk to a friend of mine that I've known through the years, Myrtle Hightower, who's here from Plano, Texas. Myrtle, what do you think of this?
Clara, thanks for the opportunity. This is a wonderful place. You might say it's almost heaven on earth. We are at the extreme tip of that map of the United States of America. And to honor Dr. Heights tonight will be one of the captivating and most glorious experiences that I think I will ever have. And of course, I've had a number of experiences throughout my life, but this is just wonderful to be with you, Clara, and to be with Lorraine Holmes, a dear friend of mine, and to be with the children of Dr. Heights, and to be with Dr. Heights and Mrs. Heights and their family.
Yes, it is a pleasure to be here. But Dr. Hawkins, Dr. Holmes, Dr. Lorraine Holmes is here. Dr. Lorraine Holmes is writing a book, and I want you to be on the outlook for this book. Dr. Holmes, how are you? And incidentally, she's from Hawkins, Texas.
Thank you, Clara. Hello to everyone in the listening audience. I'm excited to be here at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore to share in this historic occasion with Dr. and Mrs. Height and with their children. It's been a real pleasure to meet Clara and to see Merle, John, and all the other acquaintances that I've had the opportunity to meet. Bring you greetings from Jarvis Christian College and from the Honorable Mayor W.C. Maynard, our President, Dr. Sabetha Jenkins. Good talking with you. Have a good day.
Yes, we are all here. We could go on and on, but we know that those of you in Oklahoma are proud of a fellow Oklahoman, Dr. Heights. As we listened last night, he told us the story of one man, a white man in Virginia, that gave to this school $2 million. And I would like to repeat it because I know a lot of my white friends are listening in Oklahoma. $2 million to this university, and this university has 52 different nations of the world represented. They have 52 flags on the campus in honor of all of these students. This is something to see. And speaking of gratitude, I'm very grateful to all of you. And my sincere thanks go out to Blanche, Tom, and others that have given me the opportunity. Now, those of you in Oklahoma, you know wherever I go, you are with me. You have been the highlight of my life. You have seen me from the days of Hoffman, Oklahoma, where I had plenty of nothing, to the day that I'm standing now in one of the most beautiful hotels in the United States of America. Calvin, I would like to call people's attention to this part of the nation is filled with historical achievements. So will Oklahoma be. And we will be back in Oklahoma on Monday. At that time, we will be preparing for the dedication of the south wall of the Black History Monument. And we invited those of you in Oklahoma to participate. We will see you at the luncheon, and we have changed the luncheon from Trade Winds to the McFarland Branch YWCA. We expect you to participate. Now, in closing, I would like to say to the people in Oklahoma that we have a long ways to go, but we must keep going. The road is going to be rough, but we must keep moving. And to those of you that are young in Oklahoma, I want you to look at your hands, and I want you to say, with these hands, I will not steal anything from anybody. I will prepare for the future, and the future belongs to those that prepare for it. This is Clara Luper, and I've got to get ready for the brunch. I've got to get ready tonight for this big black tie affair. And Calvin, I just wish you were here, absorbing the spirit of this time.
Well, Mom, you're going so fast, and there are questions that are just popping to mind.
Yes,
and
okay, well, ask me a question.
Well, I haven't had a chance. You were, Gail was there with you, Myrtle, Dr. Holmes. Those people were there. We would like to know a little bit more about them. But then I'd like for you to explain to our audience a little more about the connection between Dr. William Percy Heitch, who is celebrating his 25th anniversary there at the University of Maryland, the Eastern Shore branch. A little more about his Oklahoma connection, the connection between Tom and Blanche Norman, and how Dr. Heitch got to that part of the nation, how he got started there. And I think that it would be really interesting if we knew just a little bit more about how Blanche and Brother Tom Norman have the inspirational role and the intense role that they played in helping this young man to develop.
The role has been unbelievable. Dr. Heitch is a son of Oklahoma, attending Langston University. And somebody has asked, what is success? It's being at the right place at the right time. And as you do your little jobs well, you continue to get bigger jobs, and that is what he did. He came to this university as a professor and a counselor and worked his way on up to the top, to such an extent that tonight his retirement dinner has been completely sold out, and I have been informed that over 250 people have been turned down they wanted to buy $60 tickets to salute him. And I would also like to tell you, and I know this will make Blanche very happy, tonight I shall have the opportunity to make a presentation to Dr. Heitch on behalf of the people in Oklahoma City. We are expecting Dr. Holloway to arrive here, the president of Langston University, sometimes today. Kevin, I will give you a detailed report because they are putting out a bulletin tonight that details the achievements of Dr. Heitch.
Well, that's going to be outstanding. I look forward to seeing it, and I look forward to more about the University of Maryland there. But my big question now is, Dr. Heitch retiring?
He is retiring after 25 successful years.
That's really something. Will he be coming back to Oklahoma?
I asked him that question last night, Calvin, and he looked at me in such a way that I knew the answer. The answer, as I saw it last night, was that he will stay here on the Eastern Shore. But in the meantime, we will be at Langston University next Saturday. And what will you be doing out there, Calvin?
Well, you know definitely what I will be doing out there. I'll be participating in the great homecoming at Langston University. I hope that Dr. Holloway doesn't have any retirement plans, but if so, we will hear about that. But, Mom, I want you to know that we miss you here at the radio station. We miss you here in Oklahoma City. And it's always hard to see you go, but it's happy times knowing that you'll be back in here Monday bright and early, and we look forward to that. So I want to thank you for calling. I wasn't sure you'd have enough time this morning to call, But I want to thank you so much for calling. But I especially want to thank Blanche and Tom Norman for the inspiration that they have given to Dr. Heitch over the years, Dr. William Percy Heitch. And I know that they would like to be there, and I know that we all would like to be there and help root on or help pat on the back a young man that's with humble beginnings that has risen to the very top. And it just makes us feel good, especially those of us who have an opportunity who have had the opportunity to know the hard working and the dynamic Blanche and Tom Norman.
Karen, I had the opportunity this morning to interview some young people and to talk to some people about Dr. Heitch. They say that he was a professional educator and a professional administrator. He was very strict, very determined, and certainly he's one of America's great administrators. I asked him about his future, and he said that he would tell us about that later. But this is Clara Luper here on the Eastern Shores saying to all of you, I'm looking at the Atlantic Ocean, and to those of you that I know, thank God for you, and a special hello to all of the people from Hoffman, Oklahoma. Do you believe that Clara Luper would go from Hoffman, Oklahoma to, yes, that's it.
That's it.
You know, and whatever you do, Calvin,
yes,
whatever you do and wherever you go, just remember that God has so much in store for all of us. Until I return back to Oklahoma City, thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your best wishes, and may God continue to bless each one of you. Clara Luper reporting.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The most dynamic, the prolific, the vivacious mom of mine. None other than Clara Luper. She's there, just as a recap here, she's there at the University of Maryland, the Eastern Shore, where she's celebrating and helping to celebrate the retirement and the 25th anniversary of Dr. William Percy Heitch, young man whose roots are deep here in Oklahoma and who has been guided, I should say. I think that's one way to put it, but has been inspired also by Blanche Norman and Tom. Now, you may know them, that's their whole name, but you may know them better, Tom's Barbecue or Blanche's Drive-In. So we want to thank them for making this moment possible here on the Clara Luper Radio Show, live and in living color on KTLV. So I want you to sit back, relax, and to tell that neighbor and tell that friend to become a part of today's show. The phone number out here is 672-1220. We're going to go on with some actions and some things that have happening here directly here in Oklahoma City. But we want all of you to know that at Passion Home Health Care, 3838 Northwest 36 is their office address, but their phone number is 943-5779. 943-5779. That's the Passion Home Health Care. Now, you wonder why someone would name a business Passion, especially when it has to do with health care. And I think that it just goes to show that the young lady who's the owner and administrator of that, Deborah Jackson, is that she's passionate about our people, about people getting the best in home health care. You think I'm joking, you think I'm jiving, give her a call. If you have someone in your family or you know someone who needs that extra bit of attention, have them call Passion Home Health Care for an in-depth interview and to talk with that dynamic Deborah Jackson. I'm certain that your family, all of you, will be relieved to know that the people at Passion Home Health Care are there to help you in your time of need. Also, an affiliate of Passion Home Care is a program that I really like. It's called Give Me a Free Hand. Now, this program, they will take you to the grocery store. They'll make sure you make your doctor's appointments. They'll wait on you. They'll get you back home. And all your transportation needs, all those little things that when you're sick, look like things become, molehills become mountains because you can't get around like you would like to. But the people at Passion Home Health Care, the people that Give Me a Free Hand, they're there for your convenience. They're there to help make your life a little easier no matter what illness you may have, what illness may exist in your family. So you can call them, the Give Me a Free Hand program at 946-8929 or the Passion Home Health Care at 943-5779. Do me a favor, too. Tell them that you heard about it here on the Clara Luper Radio Show. Say, we're looking forward to great things happening to everybody And we know that they will because of the fact that you listen to this show. We know that you're concerned about our community and you're concerned about helping some young person or some senior citizen or somebody do something positive. Say, this is the program where you're going to get some encouragement, and we promise you it will be coming. Now, at the hometown IGNA, they do more than talk about it because they're at hometown IGNA. They got the best buys in groceries that you have ever seen. Now, this weekend, they have a special sale going on, and you have to go up there. You have to see that bread. Well, the bread, of course, is a necessity, but you may be like some people that I know that don't like bread. But then you go in the hometown IGA there at 23rd and North Martin Luther King, you're going to find the best buys in canned goods and meats. You're going to even have an opportunity to see the beautiful displays that they've set up for your convenience that will aid your home in many, many different ways. Hometown IGA, 23rd and North Martin Luther King. Not only are they courteous, but they also help you take those large number of groceries that you need. They help you take it out to your vehicle. So Hometown IGA is right here in the community, here on the east side. They're courteous, they're nice, and most of all, they know what you really need. And I like to say that because of the fact that you find just about everything that you can imaginable on the shelves there at Hometown IGA, 23rd and North Martin Luther King. Down the street, up the street from Gates Barbershop there at 2609 North Martin Luther King Avenue. So that's the place to go. Those are the places that you need to go by. But I want to remind all of you, Mom touched on it briefly, but the south wall of the Freedom Center will be dedicated on October the 21st. Now, there will be a big luncheon at 12 p.m., 12 noon, at the McFarland branch. Now, the tickets there are not $60, they're not $50, they're not $40. They're only $20 each. Now, and these tickets, the money from that will go to help build that wall, the south wall. And when I say build it, there are names that will be put on that wall. There will be 13 people whose names you've heard numerous times here on the radio show. But then on October the 21st, you will have an opportunity to see those pictures go up there with a brief history of what it's all about. But a special touching part of the entire program will be the dedication, because that dedication will remind us of a strong, dynamic young lady that worked with us over the years, Cheryl Fowler. It will remind us of the 169 victims of the bombing there downtown Oklahoma City, and the past president, the second president of the NAACP Youth Council, Gwendolyn Fuller Mukes, will be the guest speaker. Now, Gwen's a dynamic educator now. She's out of Wichita, Kansas now, but her roots are deep here in Oklahoma City because she's an integral part of the sit-in movement. She's past president, as I mentioned. She's past state president of the NAACP Youth. She's past treasurer. She's past secretary. She's active in the NAACP in Wichita, Kansas, and her mom, Mrs. Fuller, will be there at the great presentation. Gwen is a graduate of Douglas High School out of Edwards Addition, so we're all looking forward to hearing her 12 noon at the McFarland branch here in Oklahoma City for the big dedication of the Freedom Wall, the South Wall there at the Freedom Center. You know, together we've helped make this dream a reality, and together we will be celebrating the dedication. Together we can do it, and I want all of you out there to come by, to bring your relatives by, to show them. If you can't make the luncheon, and there's really no reason that you shouldn't be able to make the luncheon, but if you can't make the luncheon, at least come by the Freedom Center and be a part of that last dedication. We put those pictures up when we show the plaques that will be honoring our dear friend Cheryl Fowler. When we show the plaques that will be honoring those victims of the bombing there. But this is the Clara Luper Radio Show. You've heard from Clara Luper out of the University of Maryland, the Eastern Shore, where William Percy Heights, Dr. William Percy Heights, will be celebrating his retirement and also his 25th anniversary as president of that great university. He has a hotel on his campus. He's got people from across the nation that are there, 52 different nationalities. And there at his school, we're waiting on Dr. Holloway to get there. And I know when Dr. Holloway gets there, he's going to be fired up, as Dr. Ben Hooks used to say within ACP, going to be fired up. And those of us who love Langston can look forward to some continued growth there at Langston University because of the inspiration that we know Dr. Holloway will be receiving. This part of the program will be brought to you by Chauncey's Charadina Daycare Center. That's located 1643 Northeast 50th Street. 424-4656 is that number. Mrs. Gloria Matthews is the dynamic owner of Chauncey's Charadina's Daycare Center. Now, it's not just one location, but it's two locations. You have the one at 1643 Northeast 50th Street, and you also have the one at 2611 North Martin Luther King Avenue. Now, what's so different about Chauncey's Charadina Daycare Center? There are daycare centers all across the city, but there is none other like Chauncey's Charadina's Daycare. Reason being, and my feeling on this, is that they give the very best. They give your child an opportunity to not only be well taken care of and well fed, but a chance to grow and to mature and to be ready for school. If he's in school, they give your child an opportunity to do his homework and to really stay on top of all of his necessary schoolwork. Why does Mrs. Matthews and why does her dynamic staff, why do they do that? Because they love children. They love our country. They love our city. And they know that children are the future. And they know with a good base that we can grow and we can grow in many, many directions. The young people that have graduated, I should say, from Chauncey's Charadina's Daycare Center, they're all over this city, and they're all doing productive work. You can tell the difference about a Chauncey Charadina Daycare student because they walk a little different, they talk a little different. They know that they're prepared. They've done their work on the computer. They've done their arithmetic. They've done their science projects. They've had questions answered. They've been on different tours. They've been exposed. That can happen to your child, too. For more information, call Mrs. Matthews there at 424-4656 or either 427-5274. Chauncey Charadina's Daycare Center. That gets it all out. So, Dean, we're ready now. We're ready for a great time. We have my good friend sitting here. He's anxious. He's been waving around some kind of paper that says the GOP spares affirmative action, but now we're going to get down to the meat of the matter. Theotis, I want to thank you first for coming out here because you walked into the lion's den, and I've been waiting on this opportunity. Mama's not here. Nobody can stop us. But I want to know, what are you and J.C. Watts really doing about affirmative action? And well, first of all, let's sort of start it off. Give us a little background on what your job is with Representative J.C. Watts there in Washington, D.C. and here in Oklahoma.
First of all, thank you, Calvin. My official title is Field Representative / Case Worker.
Slash? What does slash mean?
Well, case work is more like legal research, helping to prepare legislation that might help the congressman as he go forward public with information. I was instrumental in the welfare reform. I've also been instrumental in what was known to Oklahomans as vocational rehabilitation, to helping preserve, not block granting voc rehab back to the states, which everyone knows is a part of Americans Disability Act. I am instrumental in bringing monies, grants to the different educational entities in the 4th Congressional District, be that Oklahoma University, Lawton, which is Cameron, Chickasha Tech, and of course the Middale School District, Moore School Districts, etc. So it's a conglomerate type of position.
So okay, now how long have you been in this position since JC was elected?
I went with JC to his inauguration on January the 3rd.
And you've been there in January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Went all the way up until now.
All the way to now.
So Theotis, what would you consider the highlight of your slash career with the congressman there? I mean, what should we really be proud of that JC has done since he's been a congressman?
First thing is we preserved what's called TRIO. TRIO is an umbrella of several programs: Upper Bound, Talent Search, Student Support Services. It is responsible for graduating more African Americans and other ethnic minorities from college than any other program in the history of the United States. Founded by Walter Mason Sr., the father of Walter Mason Jr., that's a principal at Douglas.
Okay.
So we preserve that program. It's about $437 million.
Oh, great.
That's the first thing.
Okay, now that's one thing. Now
Yes.
we're gonna run short on time here,
Okay.
and I know that we probably should have started early, but we had to get all that other in.
We
But one thing
understand.
that I really want to know now, we're waving around this affirmative action. I know
Yes.
JC has had his day in the sunlight when it's come about discussion on affirmative action, and he's been
Yes.
called the Clarence Thomas
And
of
that
the.
is a misnomer, and that is inaccurate. And I want to say to this listenership, When I called in one time and you and Mother Clara asked me, what am I, Theotis, going to do about affirmative action?
Well, let me ask you that again.
Yes.
Theotis Payne.
Yes, sir.
What are you and J.C. Wise going to do about affirmative action?
As of this minute, affirmative action is still a law. It has been scrapped from the Republican agenda. Thank God for JC, and more specifically, thank God for myself being on this staff to take this to them to preserve something.
You're saying that the affirmative action program that Gingrich and Dole and others were talking about, cutting it, affirmative action out, that no longer will be happening.
That is no longer on the Republican agenda.
All
exactly. Right. We breaking a story right here live on the Clara Luper Show.
Theotis,
yes,
was
sir.
it because we were so hard on you on the Clara Luper radio show that you all got out there and really worked hard, or what happened?
Well, we were already working behind the scenes. Politics is strange, and there were many Republicans that felt like there were some inequities in the affirmative action plight, and they had some rightful positions. But the truth of the matter is, and I want to make this abundantly clear, we are in a changing time, Oklahoma, that listen to this show and this station, and we right there on the cutting edge to preserve and to help, and also to help change America. And I told the people last week that I would be meeting with the governor's staff. I want to report on that in 10 seconds. We had a very successful meeting. We will be coming back on this show and this station talking about the progress. We will be working with the Disaster Relief Fund at the state level. We will be working with Governor Keating's, his cabinet.
You know, you have a lot of things on your agenda. The big thing that I'm concerned about is that I have an article here that says the GOP spares affirmative action for now.
Yes, sir.
And one of the reasons for the GOP sparing that affirmative action for now is the work that you and J.C. Watts did.
Yes,
so
sir.
I want to personally say congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thanks for stopping it. Up to now, but then we got the future to do. Now you just keep on doing what you're supposed to be doing,
and
let's make sure and make sure that we get some fair and some equal representation there in Washington D.C. Now there are other issues that that JC and you and that whole office is concerned about.
Economic development is number one on our agenda. We're writing some banking legislation right now that's going to make it easier access to go get money for small disadvantaged, i.e. minority businesses, etc. We're right involved with that. JC is on the committee of banks and banking. We're just glad to be there. He's on the committee of national security, which impacted 3 agencies in our district, which are called military bases. We want to give you accurate information. I will be coming on 1220. I'll be coming on the Clara Luper Show.
Right place,
so
bro.
People will know the truth and not the rhetoric.
All right,
you, Calvin.
All right, Theotis. I want to thank you for coming out, but most of all, I want to thank you for doing your job. And I must say that I'm a little proud of you, man.
My brother. Give me my $8 back.
I can't give you $8 back. But Theotis, thanks a million for being a part of the Clara Luper Radio Show. But I want to remind all of you that on October the 21st at 12 p.m., the big dinner will be at the McFarland Branch YWCA, where Gwendolyn Fuller will be the guest speaker there for the dedication for the monument on the South Wall. I want to remind you on October the 16th, the Million Men March on Washington, D.C.
We'll be there.
We'll be there.
We will be there representing.
If you want to go, you contact Theotis Payne. Theotis' phone number right quick.
672-1630. My office number is 329-6500.
All righty. Well, thank you so much, Tom and Blanche Norman. But thanks most of all to those of you who are listening to the Clara Luper Radio Show. As Mom would say at the end of the program, we love you, but as I'm going to say at this particular time, I look forward to seeing you October the 14th at Langston University Homecoming. But most importantly of all, as you go through this week, make sure that you help somebody to do something positive for this community.